Hey, yeah, this is Heather Van Wild with Raindrop Works. Um, Bit of an interesting night. I laid down for a bit of a nap because, warm part of the day doesn't work too well for me, and I'm always a night owl anyway. Woke up to find out that I got confused with some other, oh, as you can tell, yes, we do still have street racing issues out here that, because it is the east side of Portland, nobody cares about. Anyway, yeah, so I woke up to find out that I got confused with some other trans activist on Twitter who has a completely different, like, vastly different Twitter handle from me. And has a passing resemblance to me. I will say we do have similar facial structures, but it only takes more than a quick glance to realize that no, these are two different people. Um, but yeah, I took posts that were made by this one person who, I'm not going to get into whether I agree with their views or not. I think there's a lot of stuff that we probably agree on and some things that we don't, but that's not here or there. What does matter is Andy Ngo, well, according to Twitter, he's no longer a journalist. That is getting under his craw that people complained in their curated news stories that he's not really a journalist, so they changed him to author, which is 100% accurate. He has written and published a book. Okay, he's an author. Journalist is, you have to use the term pretty broadly considering how strong the bias is and how questionable his information tends to be. Anyway, so yeah, I wake up to, half dozen messages from colleagues of mine about this happening. And Andy pulls a picture of a tweet from this other person, pulls a picture of a tweet from when I made my first press pass that I was able to make myself. So that would have been late June, early July of last year, roughly. A reference to a Guardian article that I was interviewed for, also around July of last year. That names me as Heather Lynn, and that I run Raindrop Works. The press pass says Heather Lynn Van Wild, Raindrop Works. The other person that I was being confused with, no Heather, no Van Wild, no Raindrop Works, nothing in any of their stuff to suggest any sort of confusion. I don't know if Andy has an issue where he sees all trans people as the same. And if that's the case, I got bad news for you, Andy. It's not a good look when you point to instances like Justin Yao getting hit by somebody with a claim that they were mistaken for you, which in that instance was not what happened, by the way. In April, that was not why he got hit. Anyway, yeah, to say that not all Asian Americans look the same, and then to go 2 days later and confuse two trans people is not the look you're going for, man. I'm sorry. It's not. So, yeah. Supposedly the tweet that he sent got shared like 300 times, probably a ton of comments. It wasn't too long after I found out, and I had to start letting people know, no, I'm safe, I'm okay, when he dirty deleted the tweet. Now, I will say, at least, it was very clear by that point. And I've commented on his tweets before, so there is a non-zero chance that he has seen me. But there is a non-zero chance that he realized he messed up and he deleted the tweet. Part of the problem, though, and I have been very conscientious to do this when I've made mistakes, and I have made mistakes in my journalism. A retraction includes acknowledging you made the mistake. You go back to the people who read the original story and you tell them, look, this information was wrong. This person is not involved. And at this point, that has not happened. Andy, at this time, has not posted anything since. And I don't know if he's going to. I seriously doubt he's going to. I have yet to see him post a retraction to any of his stuff that he's been called out on and has dirty deleted. But, yeah. I have a bit of a unique situation, which is a little bit awkward. And I'm not... I have mixed feelings about this right now, given everything that's going on. When I started streaming, Black Bloc has been a thing for all the protests going back to last year. My very first video, when I got ready to start, I decided I wasn't going to go for the full anonymity. I purposefully put my name out. I purposefully, when I've been on the ground, worn clothing that was the opposite of Bloc, including my baby pink press helmet. Because I felt that it was safer for me to be identifiable than to risk having people digging around trying to figure out who I am, what my deal is. Back in October, I registered Raindrop Works as a company through the state, which means that certain information about, where I am, who I am, that kind of stuff, became public record. That is a conscious decision that I made. I didn't want to have to spend money for hiring a registered agent to obscure my address. And yeah, that's kind of where things have been sitting up until now. What has happened tonight is I haven't been covering protests actively since late August. So what has happened tonight has nothing to do with any on-the-ground activism. My work is still primarily focused on government transparency, justice reform, and public records availability. I'm still covering the civil lawsuit that Andy has filed against Rose City Antifa and a number of individuals that he alleges have committed crimes against him. Oh, I think, yes, there's a drone above me. There's someone's toy. Anyway, yeah, I'm still going to be covering his case, which means I'll probably be seeing him in a courtroom at some point. I have no plans to antagonize. I may shitpost or poke fun at things that I see as ridiculous online, but when I'm working, I'm doing my best to be civil, to be objective, and to be mindful of my bias. I hope that Andy is willing to start doing the same. And...
Sorry.
Oh, you're okay. Anyway, I hope that Andy is willing to do the same. And going forward, maybe a proper retraction would be good from his perspective. This and going forward, because if any of his followers don't get the memo that he was wrong and try to hassle people based on bad information, I'm not saying it'll be me, but one of these days he may find himself the subject of the other side of the lawsuit if he knows better, that because truth is a defense in libel and defamation cases, but you have to be telling the truth. And I really do hope that Andy starts putting that journalism degree of his to work and finds the rest of his ethics.